Welcome back to the How I Got Greenlit YouTube show and podcast. As always, I am one of your two hosts, Sam, and I am joined by writer, director, and the creator of Project Greenlight, all the way from the Netherlands, Alex Keledjian. Alex, how are you today?
That
That sounded real.
means I don't care about this. Let's get it done. I'm 8 hours off and I'm tired.
Well, luckily for Alex, we're going to talk about something that him and I both feel very about, which is movie award shows, specifically our favorite of all the movie award shows, the Oscars, the Academy
The Blockbuster Video Awards?
Yep. We believe that filmmaking is a competition and that all movies should be made with the idea of what awards you could win for them.
So Coogler had me and lost me, because if he had said, I don't feel comfortable judging other artists' work, I'm like, yeah, but he didn't walk away, or he didn't have Shawnee Longfeather come in and deny his award on his behalf.
Yeah.
So he almost like stuck the landing, but then he took the Oscar. So
yeah,
now now he's complicit. Like your message is, invalid.
Yeah, let me make a point about that. I used to really respect Sean Penn for never showing up to the Oscars, but then it turned out that he only didn't show up when he didn't think he would win, because the first two times he won, he ended up showing up, which sort of
he was there.
Yeah, which invalidated.
He had
the whole thing.
Do you remember Jimmy the Greek?
Yes.
Am I too old?
No, I know Jimmy the Greek.
So did he have Jimmy the Greek do his odds of winning, and then he's like, "Oh, I'll show up."
Probably. I mean, I'm sure he knew. It probably has to do with campaigning, and this is, back when he was a more dangerous actor and a more dangerous celebrity. But then what's funny is that...
Oh, no, he's plenty dangerous. I mean, he's still... I think he's a dangerous... I think he's should be on a no-fly zone. He's dangerous.
You mean actually dangerous?
I just mean as a human being. I think he's just erratic.
Yeah, I'll give you that.
Let's be honest. If he wasn't an actor, could he hold down a steady job? He's erratic.
I think he'd make
he's
a
dangerous.
Good gas station attendant or manager.
He's got the look of a desert gas station attendant, right?
Yeah. He'd have to work at one where it's okay to smoke cigarettes at the gas station.
At the pump.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I'm glad he won. Out of order.
So you know he won.
Yeah, so full disclosure, I was flying over Greenland with intense air turbulence when the Oscars were being aired, which I think is indicative of something or other. And all I could think was, if we have to have an emergency landing, there is no landing. So it made me think about, what have I done with my life? And why did I dedicate it to this rad-ass business and other things? And it's just as good a waste of time as anything else. I mean, I got full disclosure. I did not watch the Oscars. I was literally on a plane over the international date line or whatever. Sam and I talked about it intensively, extensively beforehand, and the ups and downs and the such and so's. But honestly, I feel like I'm in the majority that I didn't watch it, and I don't care. I think it's just lost its luster. What do you think?
I think that's 100% correct. I think it's lost its luster. I don't think they know how to get it back, which they are desperately trying to do by nominating movies like F1. Something has happened, and it happened recently, and it happened specifically in COVID, where the Oscar ratings dropped precipitously, almost like the Great Depression, like the way the economy crashed. Somehow the Oscars, in a period of a year, became completely...
So it was the Smoot Hawley Act precipitated an Oscar dip.
I honestly...
All right, kids, look up Smoot Hawley. We'll wait.
I sort of blame both the Oscars as well as our own culture, because I think that what has happened is that the Oscars, first of all, started awarding movies that nobody saw, nobody cared about. Movies like Spotlight and the one about...
Coda.
That's exactly literally what I was going to say. And The Artist, which were neither particularly good or popular, They were
Right.
they were independent, quotations marks for all you podcast listeners, but they weren't like, they weren't like true indies nor like really great indies. And at the same time, to blame our own culture, we rarely have an Oppenheimer. I think Oppenheimer is a very good movie, obviously a very popular movie. We don't get
it feels like a Lawrence of Arabia.
exactly.
Like
we don't have the Godfather.
Popular plus critical acclaim is what you're trying to say, right? Godfather.
We rarely have that. And I think the year they didn't give it to Mad Max and they gave it to Spotlight, and during that period people were still watching the Oscars. I think that my theory is that
no, in no world, even in 1957, directed by David Lean, Fury Road is not winning Best Picture. Let's be blunt. I love the movie. I love it. I really do.
That movie.
Even George Miller would say, come on. Fair. He's done Oscar caliber stuff. He knows what it takes. And I just, at some point, look, we could say that, Harvey Weinstein jerked off in the palm tree, pot of Hollywood or whatever. Did he ruin it by his gamification of the Hollywood process?
Yeah.
Or did he just do what every, American entrepreneur does, which is examine a system that he's not invited to participate in and game it to his own ends, right?
Yeah.
He was the one who pioneered sending, at that time, videotapes directly to the homes he got the list. You can get the list. Who are the voters? And he sent them flyers in the mail, videotapes of the movies, lavish lunches, dinners, events, drinks, buffets, whatever. And he bought Oscars. Everybody kind of, they were initially very upset about it, and then he kept winning. Shakespeare in Love is not a great movie. It's not a bad movie, but it's not the best movie.
Yeah, sometimes
I enjoyed
winning an Oscar for Best Picture can hurt your movie's legacy. It's not a bad movie. Yeah. It's not a great movie, but people hate that movie because it wasn't Saving Private Ryan. But the other thing about that debate is that after the midpoint, Saving Private Ryan, it's an entertaining movie, but I wouldn't say, is that the best picture as well? Is Hot
it a
take,
bridge
I don't
too
like
far?
Saving Private Ryan. I'm going to go ahead and say it.
At all? 0.0?
I think the first 25 minutes or so is visceral and exciting.
Yeah.
However, I think the problem with Steven Spielberg, and I've always said this, is that he's not an intellectual, and he thinks that photorealism and sort of faux documentary filmmaking is a theme in which it's not. So whether it's Schindler's List or Saving Private Ryan, putting you there is not an artistic statement. Now, it's not to say it's not well done. He crafts things well. I just don't think. First of all, I think Saving Private Ryan drops off a cliff after the D-Day invasion. But what do you learn in the D-Day invasion other than it was awful? There's nothing to learn.
Shaving Ryan's Privates and Schindler's Fists are two of the best porn parody names of all time, just parenthetically. Look, I don't care anymore. I don't care about the YouTube algorithm and the fascistization of our organs of communication. I am so far. I'm Dutch now, man. I'm just gonna spout off. These boards that are supporting this ceiling. I'm sitting in a 400-year-old room. These were probably taken off some kind of merchant ship from the Dutch East India Company. It gives you some perspective. And the thing is I think we're in such a post world now, and we're trying to deal with what is the new norm, what is the new paradigm that we can believe in. Humans need to believe in something. The reason that films exist is because we want to look at projected light and get an emotion out of it. It's all an illusion, right? It's all a magic trick. So as far as like, oh gosh, the Oscars aren't real, like they never were, right? They were all, it was a created phenomenon to try to prevent writers and performers from becoming unionized in the early part of the film business, when they really started making real money. They didn't want to lose the owners of the means of production, to use the terminology, the vernacular of our time, did not want to cede any money or ownership to the working class, which was the filmmakers that actually made the product. And so they said, taking a note from Napoleon, who had observed that you can send young men to die in battle and just give them a piece of ribbon to hang on their breast. It's exactly the same thing. Here's a shiny metal object to make your life's work worthwhile, right?
Yeah.
So whether or not Timothée Chalamet wears an all-white tuxedo like some kind of pimp or whatever, it really, none of it matters.
Sure.
It's just that, but you know what? The musical, I love that they brought back an entertaining musical piece with Sinners.
Yeah.
Like that was my favorite part of Sinners. And they're like, hey, we should just put this on live, and it freaking worked. So like there was some good old fashioned spectacle, like when you want it, you know? Look, it's kind of like in Game of Thrones when, you know, the one guy says to the other guy, like, we don't have any money to pay for a royal wedding. And the other guy says, well, you better find it, because if we don't have a royal wedding, the peasants are going to revolt and eat us all. Like, there is something to be said about like the pomp and circumstance gives us something to like distract from an Iran war and iniquity and AI and this and that and all this sort of strife we have in the real world. It's like, oh, look at that dress. Isn't Zendaya a lovely young thing, you know?
Yeah.
And it's true. Like it does.
Yeah.
It does. It just gives you a little moment of fresh air. Like, yeah, she is a lovely young thing. We all can. There's no political spectrum that won't say Zendaya didn't look lovely in a dress that night, right?
Yeah.
So why not? Like, shouldn't we just smell the rose and not like ask like what was it fertilized with? Blood and sweat and tears, you know? So like, that's my long way of saying like, I'm glad Sean Penn won, because I think he was the best.
Yeah. All right,
I do. He's a crotchety, crazy old man, but I want him to win, you know? So, like, I don't know what us prognosticating about who should or will win, and then now us, like, this is like us, you know, examining the scat of a coyote on the trail. Like, who cares who won or not? So let's continue with our Oscar wrap-up episode. I'll let you take it from here.
Okay. So I actually want to bring up Chalamet because I think here's where the Oscars intersects with what I call online reality. Because some people want to say that...
But that's an oxymoron.
No, but it's not at this point. Because some people want to say that anything that happens online or in the media space isn't real. And to a degree, that is true. If you ignore it, right, it's like a tree falling in the woods.
Right.
However, it's obviously a space that gajillions of people are on that, quite frankly, also influences elections, which then affects the real world. But let me point this out about Timothée Chalamet. He's a great example in, here is a person who is campaigning for something he desperately wants, right? And then
he was for a while, but
right,
then he sort of like lost the luster,
but at
right?
the 11th hour, he said something about a tiny group of people, ballet and opera professionals, and it literally derailed an entire campaign overnight. And what was crazy is that so many people...
He was never going to win.
Oh, you don't think he was never going to win?
I hate to derail your point,
yeah,
mid-point.
No, that's interesting.
He was never going to win.
Okay.
This is a tempest in a teapot. And the other thing is, this is his Beatles calling themselves bigger than Christ moment, if you remember that. It's a long way back.
Yeah.
So
Only
the Beatles came to America. Granted, but hear me out. So the Beatles hit it big. They came to America. They were huge. Ed Sullivan. They were a cultural wave. Okay. John Lennon was always a bit of a hellraiser anyway. He was always he enjoyed like sort of poking the media. He saw that it was all kind of ridiculous anyway. So he at one point tried to draw a correlation between, well, to the young people of today, the Beatles possibly are more important than Jesus Christ in their lives. And the funny thing is it's not a bad point, and he may not be wrong. But at that time, and even you could probably argue at this time, everyone exploded. All the sort of like establishment figures that hated or wanted to hate the Beatles because they were young, because they had long hair, because whatever they were predisposed to not like the Beatles about, he gave them this amazing sort of quote that they could just burn them down. And it kind of hobbled them for a little while. And of course, you know, they were very talented, and they kept putting out good music and, you know, making money for the right people. So it kind of went away. But it is a funny example of like, as you're ascending to sort of stardom, be careful about like putting your foot in your mouth, right? And this is because they were giving interviews, let's say 20 a day for 20 days. Like you just start like babbling, right? So in the Timothy Chalamet example, from what I understand, this is an interview. This was not a recent interview. This is an interview that occurred in the recent history, but not within like the last 2 weeks of what this tempest was. And he had said something along the lines, I hope that movies don't go the way of ballet and opera. And that's a very salient observation in the age of social media, in the age of AI, in the age of movie theater attendance going down. That's not a
By the way,
awful,
I just want to let
crazy.
you know, it happened on February 21st, 2026.
Okay.
So it was
That's
not
a month and a
it was
half ago.
Yeah, right.
Okay, so in media time, that was the Paleozoic era, yes?
Okay, fair. Continue.
Yeah. Meaning like, yes, was it, let's say, quote unquote, his Oscar time? Like, was he doing the Oscar thing? Yeah, true. Yes, you're right. But I think his point is not wrong. Like, in fact, I've tried to say that to people in casual conversation for months, which is the movie going experience is going away. Now, I don't want to believe it to be so, and I know that my cohort doesn't want it to be so, and I know my industry doesn't want it to be so, and I know a good portion of America and the world, and maybe it's generational, but a hunk of people don't want that to be so. But let's be honest, those two art forms, ballet and opera, started out as more of a popular media in their day, and now they still exist, but in a very rarefied, small contingency of people who go and check it out as almost like a sop to like, well, we need to keep culture alive, right? As a chore, as almost like a way to show that you care about the real art. And, you know, there's an argument to be made that he's absolutely right, that it is a great observation. But because, you know, going back to what you said, like we're sort of in this bizarro, like everybody's parsing what everybody says, and we're going to pull quotes that are out of context or whatever. He was kind of taken out of context. And it was kind of like, Timothy Chalamet hates ballet and opera. It's like, that's not what he said. He said, I hope that the popular media theatrical films don't go the way of former popular media's ballet and opera into small, specialized, ghettoized media that are for the elite or a few people.
Yes,
Another
that's
analogy.
Important. That's important because
That's what he meant.
All these people that are defending ballet and opera are defending something that only the richest Americans ever go to
Right.
and care about, as where movies is a plebeian
Not anymore.
Well,
okay.
It's still affordable.
It was okay. Oh, really? Okay. So you have a child?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. So the three of you go see Goat.
Yeah. Right.
Let's say Goat, whatever it's called, the Goat, whatever that.
No, it's Goat. You're right. I saw Goat with my kids. Yeah. It's expensive, no doubt. Yeah,
so the three of you go to the Goat,
like opera,
and you have popcorn and raisinets and such and so. That's $1.20.
Yeah, it's expensive.
And for a guy like you,
yeah,
that's not nothing.
You call me poor?
I'm telling you. No, I'm just saying. If I ever reach the point where $120 I wipe my ass with, like, please slap me across the face.
Right.
If I turn into who's this putz that I hate that we constantly make fun of, this Pretty Boy Floyd. What's his freaking name? This douchebag that was in Marty Supreme.
Timothy
that I want to make.
No,
I want to make it my. I want to make. What's his real name? I'll never call him that.
Kevin
What's his
O'Leary.
real name? I make that if all this podcast ever does is bring that guy down, bring him low, as they used to say in the Bible, then mission accomplished, baby. I'm going to get a banner and an aircraft carrier, because that son of a bitch needs to go down. And I sent you that meme. Speaking of the interwebs, did you see this goof?
Him with the baseball cards and the Iranian filmmaker next to him.
That guy's an ass.
Yeah.
Anyway, so there's no, like, I'm not going to come up with some flowery Gore Vidal response to him. He's just an ass. Anyway, my point being, like, this, I don't know what I think of Timothy Chalamet. Is he a good human being? Who knows? Did he entertain me in Marty Supreme? He did. Did I watch him be the Lisan Al Gaiba on a tiny 2-inch postage stamp seat back movie thing when I had 400 downloaded into my iPad? Yeah, because Dune 2 rocks, and I'm really excited about Dune 3. So I don't really care either way what he said.
By the way, in 40 minutes, the Dune 3 trailer premieres for the.
Well, let's do a simulcast. Let's just watch it with our pants around our ankles, baby. Yeah, we're doing it. But my point is like he delivers on what he's supposed to do, right? Some of these guys, I don't know. Like, I'm glad Michael B. Jordan won. I'm sure it was a real fat pain in the ass to play both roles. I know that much.
Do you think it was better than Chalamet's performance? I don't. I just don't. I just
probably not.
Yeah.
No, I don't think. Well, look, and here's what I would say: is I would say to both of them, if they were in the room with me, I'd be like, look, I want to see you both. I think the only way that you can really do the Oscars is you can ask 5 actors to all play Marty Supreme.
Yeah. By the way, you know what was fascinating about this Oscars, now that I think about Chalamet and Marty Supreme? You know what it felt like? It felt like the public spanking of Timothy Chalamet, which is interesting because he gets spanked.
Well, they were heckling him in the... No, but okay, yes. Well, yeah, he gets abused that whole movie.
Doesn't it feel like a public spanking? Am I nuts?
Well, look, my favorite is the anonymous commentary of the internet. And so the best comment I saw was, isn't that the most Marty Supreme thing for them to do, is not let him win?
Yeah, right.
Yeah. So it's like, yep, that's the perfect, like, there's the art form. Like, Marty Supreme, goofy suit, comes in with the goofy girlfriend and all the bad personal decisions. Marty Supreme, like, that was the art form right there. Like, all of it in a wrapped in a bow, But I do agree. Look, that's my issue, is there's no 1-to-1. I mean, like, not to be self-referential, but one of my favorite things that we did on Project Greenlight was we, in order to pick who the winner should be, is we made them all direct a 3-page scene that they hadn't seen before, that they didn't write, that they didn't affect, that they didn't choose. And we were trying to show the audience, because people go like, well, wait, why did the best script not make the best picture? Why does the best director and the best picture not be the same thing? We were trying to show not the nerds, but the general audience, like, here's what a director does. Like, here's the script, and then these 5 people, this is how radically different their interpretation was. So that's what I'm trying to say is, like, I would love to see Timothée Chalamet do a version of Sinners. And then I would love to see Michael B. Jordan do a version of Marty Supreme.
I couldn't agree more. I think that would be
you know what I'm saying? And there's a way to do that.
For Jordan too. I think
I think he'd be pretty good, like getting beat up.
I think Chalamet has range. I think the guy's the real deal.
I think so too. I think he's got a future. I think Michael B. Jordan has a future.
But Michael B. Jordan's taken more roles that are within the same vein. He hasn't shown that kind of range. He's a good actor.
Well, I
think the last really great dramatic performance he gave? It was Fruitvale Station.
Fruitvale Station.
Exactly.
Yeah, and I think that there's those two. Ryan Coogler directed Fruitvale Station. I think that you could draw a line between that film and what these guys won at the Oscars. Really, you know.
I would love to see Jordan play a truly unlikable person, not like a Black Panther style villain.
Well, by the way, Sinners, he was kind of he wasn't the hero. I mean, let's be honest. Like, he wasn't the protagonist of that film. The young musician was.
Yeah, that's true.
Like, did Michael B. Jordan grow and change? I mean, he became a vampire or whatever. But I'm saying, like,
both those characters, Smoke and Stack, are not that complex. They're not.
They're not that different. If you had Smoke be like, "Hey, man, we should just all get along," and Stack's like, "I'm everybody," that's fine. But it was like one guy liked to people sort of, and one guy liked to people a lot.
How was this performance any better than what Tom Hardy did in Legend, which is a pretty mediocre movie?
Or a handful of characters.
I just think of the gangsters because the Tom Hardy one is what you're talking about. 2 very different style of twin brothers, the Cray brothers. Anyway, so Chalamet loses.
He loses, but what I'm saying is like in retrospect, when you see how it shook out, and even just our, kind of BS like prognostication of it is that Paul Thomas Anderson won because he never won.
Right. And he wanted to win, which is the interesting thing. And he made it very clear. I don't know if you watched his speech. He made it very clear in his speech that he had wanted to win an Oscar.
Yeah, he did. And I think this movie was a nod in that direction. Yeah. I think Licorice Pizza wasn't. I think he knows what it is. Like The Master might have been. You can look at the film and the choices and be like, yeah, he's going for it. Like I think There Will Be Blood, he was going for it. I think he wanted like a full sweep. And there's an argument he should have won all of it. I think he's been gunning for an Oscar for a long time. I think he knows he's an indie darling. I think he's more Oscar ready. I was going to say worthy, but not. But what I mean to say is Oscar ready than, let's say, a Tarantino or someone of his, generation. But I think There Will Be Blood was his like real like all chips on this one, and they won some, but not all. I've said I liked One Battle After Another. I think it was, he deserved something.
He got the exact same career award that the Coen brothers got the year that he lost for There Will Be Blood. I mean, it's really, again, it is just it's a long line in getting
wait a second. Then they went, wasn't that the year of
No Country?
Dude, that's not a...
No Country is nowhere near one of their best movies.
What? Well, what's their best movie?
Miller's Crossing, obviously. Barton Fink. I think nearly everything they did before No Country was better than No Country. Maybe even the Hudsucker Proxy, which I like.
Look, we've talked about this, and I am with you. Like subjectively, I love that the first 5 films that they made, right, which included those. You can't argue that No Country is not Oscar worthy. I mean, that was not a Scorsese The Departed sort of like, here you go. And I love The Departed, but it's no like Raging Bull or like, you know what I mean? Goodfellas. Like, those happen all the time. I mean, you could even argue like what was the one? Paul Newman was supposed to win, 800 times before, but then he
And then
won
he got it for
for
Color of Money.
Color of Money. There's some obvious ones, and then there's some like,
Yes.
That was a tough year. Let's just say that. No Country and There Will Be Blood are both great movies, no question. In fact, if either of those were in the running this year, there would be no contest.
But also, is there even a question that There Will Be Blood is better than No Country?
Here's the real question. Does it matter? Like, I don't think I'm going after what you said about he's going for an Oscar.
Yeah, right.
I don't think that Ryan Coogler went after an Oscar with Sinners. I think he tried to make an original. I thought that was supposed to be his inception. Like, I've done the Batman movies. I've made money for people. I've done them better than a lot of superhero movies were. So I'm here now. I'm allowed to do big movies. I'm going to create my own original property that I wrote and could have a universe. There could be a Sinners verse. They're setting up like time travel and the Irish vampires and the such and so. So I think he was just going for like, I want to make my own Inception. I want to make my own The Prestige. I'm going to be Nolan in the sense of here's an original cool thing that's kind of genre-y, but kind of left of center. And we're going to have some fun, and I'm going to spend some money on it, and it'll be entertaining. And then somehow it's sort of got a life of its own. That's what I think. If we're going about like, well, what was the filmmaker's intent? I think he just intended to make a franchise movie that he could own, and even the deal. I mean, you've heard about the deal.
That's a spot on analysis of what Sinners is. He did not make Sinners to win awards. He made Sinners for himself
to make some real money.
Yeah,
and he did, and it's good. And he even negotiated the deal where I think it reverts back to him in 10 years and all that other stuff.
I think he bet on himself. Can I make a point about Ryan Coogler, too? You know how Spike Lee used to always cast himself in roles, whether they were small or slightly larger? I would love to see Ryan Coogler in one of his movies. What is that how people from Oakland talk? It is. I could listen to him read the phone book. It is such a pleasant regional dialect.
I think it's him. I think it's just his own. He's got a unique speaking style.
Yeah, it's
but I
awesome.
think it just goes to what we're doing now is we're starting because we're in such a media age. I don't know what David Lean's voice sounds like. We know Hitchcock because he put himself on camera in a show and did a like. Hi, here's the name of the show is Alfred Hitchcock, and I'm going to be the host, and here's my face. But like director as personality. I mean, I've seen some Paul Thomas Anderson interviews, but I bet most people haven't. Tarantino made a concerted effort to be in his movies, put himself in other movies and do all kinds of expository stuff, but that was always attributed to he wanted to be an actor before a director. So he's got to like scratch that itch. I don't think Coogler wanted to ever be an actor. And I don't know what I do know what Paul Verhoeven.
Let's have Ryan
because
Coogler.
He is the crazy Dutchman.
Yeah, you know what I was thinking of? I was watching the Netflix documentary about the dinosaurs that Morgan Freeman is of course narrating, and this will get to Ryan Coogler, and Morgan Freeman's sounding old in that. Remember how in Rogue One when James Earl Jones plays Darth Vader, and you're like, ooh, this sounds like a very old.
He sounded old, yeah.
So I was thinking, who's going to replace Morgan Freeman and Keith David when they eventually go and can't narrate all our documentaries? I would love for Ryan Coogler to narrate like documentaries about dinosaurs. It would just be great.
Look, it's great. I mean,
he sounds great.
It's great
I like
when
the way he talks.
Well, look, Orson Welles has a great voice.
Yeah, absolutely.
But he was an actor first, So I don't know. I mean, there's something to be said. I think writer directors, especially, like you kind of have to actor it out in your head. Mm-hmm. I have friends that when they write, they actually like say the words out loud, and they sound kind of crazy. I don't really do that, but I could understand how they do it. And there is a lot of arguments about like directors should be taking acting and like they're so closely aligned in terms of you can't have one without the other, that it would make sense that they would have a charisma or a screen presence or a voice presence, as you say. But I don't know. I mean, I don't know. Like, does James Mangold have a melodious singing voice? Who knows? Who cares?
Fair. Who cares? I don't even think I know what James Mangold looks like.
He looks like every bearded middle-aged guy that like works in Hollywood. So that's the funny thing.
Let's move on, but let's wrap up. Pete Anderson, Ryan Coogler both get little gold men, and it makes, I think, everybody happy because
no one was angry about it.
Yeah,
everybody got a little something.
Yeah, they're both extremely talented.
They're both popular. They're both money makers. They're both critically acclaimed. Yes, I agree.
All right. So our girl Amy Madigan from Weapons, which was one of our first episodes we ever did on this show, got her Oscar.
That was probably but her and Sean Penn were my two, like, yes, thank you. That's all I wanted to hear.
I wish she was less nuts. Her speeches aren't good. They're just weird.
So funnily enough, I watched because I'm working on like an underwater thing. So I watched The Abyss. And I hadn't seen Abyss in a long time. And the reason I bring it up is because Amy Madigan is married to Ed Harris, and Ed Harris is the lead actor in The Abyss, which is a kind of, by the way, that is James Cameron's Sinners. He made Aliens, and then he made The Abyss. And the answer was, I did one for them. I made money. I showed I could be a good corporate officer. Here's an original, cool, weird thing that I couldn't get made before, but now they're going to trust me with a bunch of money, and I'm going to do my own kind of weird thing, which you could draw a line between Abyss to Titanic. It's like the diving and the thing and the thing and the thing. So, but the reason I bring it up is because Ed Harris is a maniac, and we love him. We just love him. He's just a maniac, Like, I'd love to see him coach like a little league soccer team. He's just a maniac. Like,
yeah, did you see his press tour for A History of Violence? It was frightening. It was like,
I bet it was awesome.
Yeah,
he's like, you call that a question?
Yeah,
you're weak.
No,
yeah,
he does something like that. Someone asks him about violence, and he he scares the room for a second.
Yeah, I mean, of course.
I saw a good
meme.
I saw a good tweet that said, it was from some woman, and she was like, I always said that Ed Harris was as old as I'd go. Right? She's talking about guys she would, And then she posted a picture from the Oscars, and she's like, and I stand by this. I don't know. I just think I don't care about the artist, which is partly why I don't care about the awards. Especially when it comes to
movies. That's the issue. The Oscars really is the art and artist.
Yeah. Music, it's hard to separate the artist from the art from the artist because you feel like you're getting something intensely personal. I think the best directors are really craftsmen and storytellers. What does anyone know about Kubrick or the Coen brothers? No one really knows about anything about these.
Well, let me say this about that, as JFK once said. There's a lot of stuff about Kubrick. There's documentaries, there's books, there's his daughter's doc. Like, he's been examined, okay? And I think because of his obsessive style, they're like, was he crazy? Was he OCD? A lot of that sort of begat that. I think he was just no takes.
BS. Honestly, I think he was hyper intelligent. And
I don't know, but I'm saying, like, Fincher also has the 60 takes.
Yeah. Is
there more than one book about him? Like, he's a pretty private guy. That's what I'm saying. Yeah. Coens are the same way. Very private.
Yeah.
Like, I think they all deigned to do the Charlie Rose thing back when it wasn't like a bad thing.
Right.
Because it was sort of like, he won't ask what your favorite color is. Like, he's kind of fawning but like appropriately in sort of like the New Yorker versus the New York Post kind of way. So like, I don't know. I don't know what the right answer is. I mean, some people play the game and some people don't. I think you could look at life that way. I have 2 kids. One kid leans forward. She pursues life. She pursues her ambitions. She wants a thing. She goes after a thing. Sometimes she's successful. Sometimes she isn't. My other kid, he leans back. But rather than nothing happening to him, people are drawn to him. His behavior begets an interest and a curiosity about him. So do you know what I mean? Like,
Sure.
If I'm a director, do I go to every luncheon and shake hands with 89-year-old? You were the editor of Face in the Crowd. I'm a huge. So yeah, there's those guys, right? And he was like a inveterate person that did that. I think he actually bought Robert Evans' house after Evans passed. I mean, he just like it's in his bones. Like he can't not be a pleaser, almost like a people pleaser. And then there's the people that are like, I turn in my look at it or don't. I'm out of here. Mm-hmm. Don't call me. Don't write me. I'm not going to anyone else's premiere. I'm not going to the New York. What's the goofy one where they all wear dresses that look like flower pots? The Met. I'm not going to the Met. I'm not going to the this. I'm not going to the that. I'm going to do a job. Every 3 years, you're going to see a new job. See you later.
Yeah, the thing I like about sort of the directors, kind of in a generalization, like, is that it's sort of just like they're not the showy artist. They tend to be the more serious, like craftsman. Like, I'm not going to like the Met or these other things. For the most part, I've always been attracted to the personality of the film director and this sort of almost, you could say it's a suit they wear, and maybe for them it's even a cliche, but to be somewhat reserved and to be no BS and to not be a showy person. Alex, let me ask you a question.
Well, wait, which category would Tim Burton go in?
Oh, God, I have no idea, dude.
But do you see what I mean?
Yeah,
like, it's kind of
he's a himself. I mean, if someone's like Tim Burton, people will be like, oh, he's like Tim Burton.
Yeah, but if a Tim Burton fell in the woods, would anyone care? My point is like, do you do your hair like that because you do your hair like that?
Yeah.
Do you dress like that because you dress like that? Or is there an affectation to
I think there's an affectation
curry the image of the artist,
and
right?
To be fair, I think there's an affectation to the sort of the non-affectation of the film director.
Absolutely.
Yeah, that's why I say it's like a suit they wear. They put it on. Let's move forward. One last person. What's your take on Jessie Buckley? What do you think about her?
I think that every year we have somebody that appears out of nowhere and we're supposed to pay attention. I have no feelings
I feel the opposite.
Either way.
I think she's cool. I've known about her for a long time. I'm happy that she's breaking
Name
through.
3 things that she's done.
Wild Roses.
Never heard of it.
Good movie. Season 4 of Fargo, which is its worst season, but she's excellent in it. She's a person...
one with John Hamm?
No, the one with, or maybe it's season 3. I can't remember which season. It's the one with Chris Rock. It's the worst season. But
the one that I didn't watch because it was so bad?
But she's excellent in it. She's great in it. She's a person where if you like movies and TV, she's going to pop up and steal the show every time.
I'm still waiting for the third thing.
Oh, she was in that crazy Charlie Kaufman movie with the dude from Begonia, Jesse Plemons.
Skadosh, New York or whatever?
No, it's like I Wish You Were Here or something like that. It's where the guy makes up his girlfriend. It's like the janitors. She just pops up in places. She's been in other stuff too, I'm trying to remember, but she's cool. I like her.
That kind of sounds like when I was trying to get a job and I made up jobs to put on my resume.
No, man,
these are all AI, dude. Fake news.
No, I
haven't heard any of that shit. I'm not saying she's unlikable. I'm saying I don't want to watch Hamnet because it's about child murder. And I know it's not murder, but it's look, the best do they call it female actor Oscar or do they call it actress still?
I think it's
whatever.
I think it's lead female actor or something like that.
Lead, yeah, right.
Yeah.
Used to be actress, right? Just like they used to say, in the what the winner is. Remember that? But I don't know who Jesse Buckley is. He seems like a nice enough fella.
She seems like a nice enough fella.
Honest to God, I heard the name and I thought, yeah, that was a great album. It's too bad that guy died so young.
Yeah, right. What's his name?
Jeff Buckley.
Jeff Buckley. She's cool. You'll see her in more stuff. The reason that I won't see Hamnet either for the same reasons, right? I'm a father.
Well, wait, let me finish my point. The
please.
point is that for some reason, female actors get these awards. We don't really know much about them, and in many cases, we never know much about them again. I mean, I would argue Halle Berry's career was on the rise until she won the Oscar, and then she didn't know what she was to us, and the community of filmmakers didn't know what she was to us. And so what we got was Catwoman and Swordfish, and like, is this the best use of our best female actor winner? Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Whereas men, it's a good thing for them, and they become like, pretty well known and pretty established, and they can command great salaries and all the rest.
The Academy Awards has been doing the same thing. We talked about this, which is the best actress race is always who's our next Timothée Chalamet in female form.
Right.
That's what they want. It's
right.
anointing.
It's trying to be star making.
Right. But she's a good one. She's a good one. I hope she becomes
I'm not disputing
it.
But
I'm saying,
I think
no one likes Brie Larson.
I think Grace was a great album.
Right. Nobody likes Brie Larson, right? It often fails.
But see, she's a perfect example.
Yeah.
She had a real spunky indie thing going.
Interesting.
Then she won.
Yeah.
And she didn't know who she was. Maybe it's the agents. They're like, hey, I got a best actress person here. And they're like, eh.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so what do you get? You get a silly superhero film. Captain Marvel, Catwoman, it's like everybody flounders like, okay, they're talented. What do we do with them? Who are they? What are they?
Yeah.
It's weird.
All right, let's wrap this up. Alex, I know you love talking about the Academy Awards as much as me. This is kind of like
we do. Well, who? Throw some other winners at me. Who else won?
We got Best Picture for One Battle. We kind of cover that. We did Best Supporting.
Sinners won Best Original Screenplay,
which is good. That's what you give the guy before he wins the next real one. Like and
Train Dreams got cock-blocked.
Yeah,
that's a bunch of. It's not okay.
Just happy to be at the party.
No, that's a bunch of. That movie was exceptional.
I guarantee they're happy to be at the party. They're just happy that people might look them up and watch them on Netflix as a result of their nomination, which, by the way, is the only good thing that the Oscars does, which is that it puts eyeballs on movies like Train Dreams.
It also puts Ted Sarandos in jeans and a tux jacket.
Is that what he wore?
I think he wore it to the maybe the Golden Globes.
I feel like we have to talk about the Academy Awards every year in the same way we have to get our flu shot.
I was going to say pay our taxes.
Yeah, it just is what it is. Yeah, I think it's more like pay our taxes. It's just we have to do it, and it's going to hurt every time. And it's not us at our most.
It almost never. I can't remember an Oscars where people were like, "That was a hell of a show." It's always complaining. Too long, too not funny, too funny, too many musical numbers, not enough musical numbers. It's like, what do you want?
Yeah, I'm with you. All right. Anyways, this is the How I Got Greenlit podcast and YouTube show. Next episode, we will talk about a movie, something hopefully that we like. We haven't talked about it yet. We don't know what it is. I'm thinking maybe, dude, you know what looks good? That movie that's made by the same author who wrote The Martian. It's the one with Ryan Gosling. That looks like a good time.
Project Hail Mary.
Yeah, that looks like a good time. That looks like fun.
Is Jesse Buckley in it?
No. I think it's just Ryan Gosling and an alien. Oh, don't. You're going to regret this take. All right, Alex.
No, I'm looking forward to that. And by the way, Gosling was great on SNL, so I'd love to see Jesse What's her name? Schmuckley?
Buckley.
Schmigley? Schmuckers?
You'll know her name
See,
by
that's-
the end. You'll
See,
know
that's the
her name.
problem. I should know. I don't. Anyway, congratulations to all the winners. The Oscar
Ghost Tours.
recipients.
Yeah,
Whatever.
the Ghost Tours.
Anywho, thank you from across the pond. Good to talk to you. Enjoy the rest of your week and keep on watching them movies.
All right, take it easy, man.
All right.